For each commencement ceremony, one graduate is chosen to speak on behalf of the graduating class. To be selected for this honor, students must not only demonstrate academic success, but they must also exemplify the values of our institution. The graduate chosen for this ceremony is James Cody Sandusky, who is receiving his Doctor of Pharmacy from the School of Pharmacy. Mr. Sandusky is a member of numerous professional pharmacy organizations and has served in a leadership capacity for the SIUE School of Pharmacy Honor Council and the SIUE chapter of the American Pharmacists Association Academy of Student Pharmacists and the National Community Pharmacist Association, to name just a few. Mr. Sandusky received the National Community Pharmacist Association Foundation Presidential Scholarship and was named the 2011 SIUE Kimmel Leadership Center Outstanding Student Leader. He has been involved in several local and international volunteer activities, including the American Diabetes Association Walk, Hospital Sisters Mission Outreach, and a mission trip to Senegal. Mr. Sandusky is an accomplished pianist and holds a martial arts black belt. Mr. Sandusky, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the podium as the student speaker representing the class of 2012.
So I bet you never knew I had a black belt, did you? Yeah, now you regret all those nights I stayed up very late, didn't you, pharmacy faculty? So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 108th Commencement of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. As Provost Boyle said, my name is Cody Sandusky, and it's my honor and privilege to be selected to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2012. I'd like to thank Dr. Girish Gupchap, Dean of the School of Pharmacy, and Dr. Chris Lynch, Professor of Pharmacy Practice, for recommending me for this prestigious honor. To paraphrase a quote by William Faulkner in his Nobel Prize acceptance speech, tonight I choose to use this moment as a pinnacle from which I might be listened to by my peers, and that by doing so I might inculcate in their hearts and minds the ideals that I deem necessary to foster in such difficult social and economic times for new graduates. But first, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere gratitude to several groups of individuals without whom this night would not be possible. To start with, I'd like to thank the SIU Board of Trustees, Chancellor Vandegrift, and Provost Boyle for their service to this fine institution. Chancellor Vandegrift, on behalf of the class of 2012 and the students of SIUE, we all wish you the best in your retirement. You will be very sorely missed here. To the greater SIUE community, the Glen Ed community, if you will, thank you for your support for the students and programs at SIUE. The Glen Ed community is truly a remarkable place and a pleasurable environment in which to learn. My friends often tell me that I'm an old soul, and I'm going to get a lot of laughs from the pharmacy whenever I bring this up. It's true that I enjoy classical music far more than any 20-something should, and that I'm more adamant about shining my shoes than waxing my car, which was 4 years ago. Oh, come on, give me a laugh there. One attribute, however, has earned me the name Mr. Rogers among my classmates, and that would be my love of knit cardigan sweaters. As I was preparing this address, I came across a wonderful quote by Mr. Fred Rogers and knew it was simply meant to be. In actuality, it applies to the next two groups of individuals quite well. Mr. Rogers says, anyone who has ever been able to sustain good work has had at least one person, and often many, who have believed in him or her. We just don't get to be competent human beings without a lot of different investments from others. We all come from different backgrounds tonight, but we're all bound by the common knowledge that without the support of our outstanding faculty and support staff to facilitate our education, and perhaps more importantly, the love and encouragement of our friends, families, spouses, etc., that this journey would be next to impossible. I'd like to take this time to thank a few of those aforementioned individuals that played a pivotal role in my personal and professional careers. To the SIUE School of Pharmacy faculty and staff, thank you for your dedication to the students of the School of Pharmacy advocating for our patients, and catalyzing changes for the betterment of our profession. I cherish the time I spent under each of your mentorship and would like to thank a few of my personal mentors. To Doctors Bill Coling and Tim McPherson, over the past 4 years, I've probably spent more time in your office than anyone else's. Thank you for teaching me the importance of critical thinking, the value of research, and most importantly, thank you for reminding me that I'm a good kid, I'm a smart kid, and doggone it, people should like me. To Doctors Chris Lynch, Jess Kerr, Keith Hecht, Chris Herndon, and Kathy Santinello, and Ms. Connie Stamper-Carr, or Aunt Connie as I call her, thank you for being excellent life coaches throughout this experience. Your guidance and friendship is truly appreciated. Lastly, I'd like to thank my parents, Bill and Stacy Sandusky, and my grandparents, Bill and Pam Brown, for their steadfast love, emotional support, financial support, and for instilling within me the belief to never be satisfied with the status quo. Thank you to my friends, both near and far, several of whom have come tonight to support me, to my pharmacy family who has gathered before me. Thank you for motivating me to keep pressing on, the many laughs we've shared, and for simply being the wonderful people that you are. God has truly blessed me with a wonderful family, friends, and peers. You know, you all mean the absolute world to me, but what's the harm in reminding you yet again? Now, to my fellow graduates, I think I've talked enough about other people. It's time to focus on the reason we're gathered here tonight, our commencement. The definition of commencement as we use it here is a ceremony in which degrees are conferred upon graduating students. However, I like the literal definition of the word better, which means the beginning or the start. You see, we don't gather here tonight before our faculty, our mentors, our peers, and our loved ones to mark the end of our education, but rather we gather together to mark the beginning of our lives. Up to this point, we've been somewhat dependent, almost coddled on some sort of safety net, whether it was that of our loved ones or simply the academic environment. But tonight, it's our turn to spread our wings and fly. Congratulations on reaching this milestone in your life, and I have no doubt that you've worked extremely hard to be where you're at right now. All those pots of coffee, those sleepless nights, and all those times you heard that ominous voice in Lovejoy Library say, "The library will close in 15 minutes, have finally paid off. But as I mentioned, our lives have simply been winding up for the great game of life to come. I ask that you listen closely for the next few moments, as I feel that the following are things we must take up as new graduates entering very tempestuous times. As I said earlier, we've spent the past several years embraced in a world outside of actuality, which would be college. While here, we've been exposed to a rich world of learning, fun, and communion with one another. All of that is about to change, though, as we part our ways and blaze our own paths into the world. My hope is that you will apply the values of this institution to your daily lives, commit yourselves to service to your community, submerge yourself in cultural diversity, apply your critical thinking skills, and never, ever stop learning. Not only will this enrich your own lives, but will serve the greater good for society as a whole. Oftentimes, I feel as though our generation allows itself to sit idly, waiting for the world to evolve around us. Our tragedy today is that we've become enthralled with a universal fear of taking up our own cross, so long sustained that we can even bear it. And what is the result of such? It's stagnancy within ourselves and society. Just look at the world around us. The world today is dark and dismal. It's full of people quick to point their fingers or occupy a street corner. Yet no one seems to want to be the ones to dig their heels in against the way things are. I submit to you, we must teach ourselves that the basis of all these things is this mindset, and thereby teach ourselves to forget it forever, leaving no room in our hearts and our minds for anything but the old verities and truths of our souls, of love, pity, pride, compassion, hard work, and sacrifice. The ideals without which our future endeavors are but mere ephemeral pieces of our life story. Until we re-embrace these ideals, we exist as though we stand to watch the end of man. And I denounce this thought, and I encourage you to do the same. We as a generation cannot sit idly waiting to hear the death knell of man. But I do believe that it will be the bright minds of the light gathered here today that will not only ensure that man endures, but will also, in fact, prevail. For we are beings of immortal spirits capable of compassion, sacrifice, creativity, and endurance. I believe we are of a different breed here at SIUE, one that is prepared to enter the trenches of humanity and stand for the greater good. I'm reminded of a statement made by the famous SIU Carbondale professor, Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller. Fuller, who was known the world over for his architectural innovations, went by a quite peculiar nickname, Trim Tab. He once stated in an interview, "Something hit me very hard once thinking about what one little man can do. Just think of the Queen Mary. The whole ship goes by and then comes the rudder. And there's a tiny thing at the edge of the rudder called a trim tab. It's a miniature rudder. Just pulling the little trim tab builds a low pressure that pulls the whole rudder around. Takes almost no effort at all." So I said that the little individual could be a trim tab. Society thinks it's going right by you, that it's left you all together. But if you're doing dynamic things mentally, the fact is that you can just put your foot out like that and the whole big ship of state is going to go. So I said, call me trim tab. What a profound statement that one small man, a trim tab, if you will, can steer the entire ship of state. I think Fuller makes an excellent analogy here for new graduates. He lays out the foundation for a set of principles on which to build our generation. When I first read this interview, I looked into myself and wondered if I had what it took to be a trim tab, and I suggest you do the same. I thought long and hard about the topic. How exactly does one become a trim tab, one that will change the course of humanity? And I came to the conclusion there are 4 primary characteristics of such game changers throughout history: a creative desire, a willingness to accept and implement change, acceptance and growth from failure, and perseverance. We can no longer sit on the sidelines of humanity, waiting for the deedle hand of fate to orchestrate the world around us. My fellow graduates, our time is now. Each and every one of you is equipped with the knowledge and skills to steer the course of mankind if you so choose. Let's bring the world out of the rut it's in. Beginning tonight at our commencement, seize this opportunity to stand for our generation, our future, our children, and the generations to come. Harness your creative genius, generate innovation, and though you may stumble along the way, press on without fear or grumbling, but rather with love and compassion, so that when you do reach the top of the world, you might shine down like a star burning brightly in the universe. And always remember, just as one tiny trim tab may steer the entire course of a ship, so may you steer the course of the future. I wish you all my very best for long, fruitful lives. Congratulations on this momentous occasion, and may God bless.
Thank you, Cody, for the bright light of your message and for your many contributions to the university community.